The Awakening. The U.S. horizon loomed in the darkness of space, a colossal ghost ship drifting silently through the void. Once the pride of Earth's space fleet, the massive Supercarrier now floated aimlessly in high orbit, decommissioned and forgotten. Its hull, stretching over 5 kilometers from bow to stern, bore the scars of past battles and the tarnish of neglect. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of a small shuttle, her dark eyes fixed on the behemoth before her. At 45, she was considered young for her rank, but the determination etched into her features spoke of a lifetime of challenges overcome. Her short black hair, streaked with premature gray, framed a face that had seen its share of tough decisions. Quite a sight, isn't she? The gruff voice of Chief Engineer Mike O'Malley broke the silence. The burly Irishman stroked his red beard thoughtfully. Hard to believe they just left her up here to rest. Sarah nodded, her gaze never leaving the horizon. Budget cuts and short-sightedness. But she might be our last hope now. The shuttle docked with a gentle thud, and Sarah led her skeleton crew of 50 into the cavernous hangar bay. Their footsteps echoed in the emptiness, a stark reminder of the thousands of crew members who once called this ship home. As they made their way to the bridge, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had plagued her since receiving the coded transmission from Fleet Admiral Yamamoto. The message had been brief but chilling. Unknown signals detected at edge of solar system. Possible extraterrestrial origin. Reactivate horizon. Godspeed. The bridge was a tomb of dead consoles and darkened screens. Sarah ran her hand over the captain's chair, a thin layer of dust coming away on her fingers. All right, people, let's wake her up. For the next 72 hours, the small crew worked tirelessly. O'Malley and his engineers coaxed the ancient fusion reactors back to life. Lieutenant Zara Patel, a brilliant young programmer, battled with the ship's AI systems, updating them with the latest defense protocols. Security Chief John Hawkins and his team swept every deck, ensuring the structural integrity of the massive vessel. On the third day, as Sarah pored over status reports in her newly claimed ready room, an alarm blared through the ship. She raced to the bridge, where Lieutenant Patel was hunched over a console, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. Report. Sarah barked, sliding into the captain's chair. Patel's voice was tight with tension. Captain, we're picking up a signal. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Definitely not human in origin. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Put it on screen. The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a series of complex waveforms and patterns. To Sarah's untrained eye, it looked like a random mess of data, but she could see the recognition dawning on Patel's face. It's a language, Captain, Patel whispered, her eyes wide with awe. An alien language. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and their first contact was rapidly approaching. Can you decipher it? Sarah asked, her voice steady despite the racing of her heart. Patel shook her head. Not yet, but I'm working on it. What I can tell you is that it's coming from just beyond the orbit of Neptune, and it's strong. Whatever sent this, Captain, it's big. Sarah's mind raced through the possibilities. A peaceful exchange of knowledge, or the prelude to an invasion. Either way, the U.S. horizon might be humanity's best, and only, line of defense. All right, people, this is not a drill, Sarah announced, standing to address her small but capable crew. We have potential first contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. Our mission is clear: protect Earth at all costs. But let's not jump to conclusions. This could be the greatest opportunity in human history, and I intend to meet it head-on. She turned to her chief engineer. O'Malley, I need this ship combat-ready yesterday. Push those reactors to the limit if you have to. O'Malley grinned, a twinkle in his eye. Aye, Captain. I'll have the old girl purring like a kitten in no time. Patel, keep working on that signal. I want to know what they're saying, and I want to be able to talk back. The young lieutenant nodded, determination written across her features. "I'm on it, Captain. I'll have a translation matrix up and running as soon as possible." "Hawkins," Sarah continued, addressing her security chief, "start running battle drills. I want every member of this crew to know their combat stations, even if they've never set foot on a starship before." The grizzled veteran saluted sharply. "Consider it done, ma'am." As her crew sprang into action, Sarah turned back to the view screen, studying the alien signal with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The U.S. Horizon had been built for this very purpose, to stand as humanity's shield against the unknown dangers of space. Now, after years of neglect, she would finally fulfill that purpose. Sarah thought of the billions of people on Earth below, blissfully unaware of the potential threat, or miraculous opportunity, heading their way. The weight of that responsibility settled on her shoulders, but instead of feeling burdened, she felt energized. This was what she had trained for her entire life. "Helm," she ordered, her voice ringing with authority. "Set a course for the edge of the solar system. Maximum sustainable speed." As the enormous engines of the U.S. Horizon roared to life, pushing the massive ship forward into the unknown, Sarah Chen allowed herself a small smile. Whatever awaited them out there in the vast expanse of space, she and her crew would face it head-on. The awakening of the U.S. Horizon was complete. Humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin. First contact. The U.S. Horizon cut through the inky blackness of space, its massive form dwarfing the icy planetoids of the outer solar system. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center of the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main view screen as it displayed the vast emptiness ahead. "Captain," Lieutenant Patel's voice broke the tense silence. "I'm picking up multiple objects on long-range sensors. They're huge." Sarah's heart raced, but her voice remained steady. "On screen, Lieutenant." The view screen flickered, and a collective gasp rippled through the bridge crew. A fleet of alien vessels hung in space before them, their sleek, organic designs a stark contrast to the utilitarian bulk of the Horizon. The ships gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, their hulls adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to pulse with energy. "My God," Chief Engineer O'Malley whispered, his usual bravado momentarily forgotten. "There must be dozens of them." Sarah's mind raced through their options. They were outnumbered and facing technology far beyond their own. But the Horizon was humanity's best hope, and she'd be damned if she'd let Earth fall without a fight. "Hail them," she ordered, straightening her uniform. "All frequencies." For several agonizing moments, there was no response. Then, with a burst of static, a holographic image materialized in the center of the bridge. The alien that appeared was vaguely humanoid, with elongated limbs and a head that tapered to a point. Its skin shimmered with a metallic sheen, and multiple eyes blinked in unison as it regarded the human crew. "I am Zarkon, High Commander of the Zarkol Empire." The alien's voice resonated through the bridge, its words translated by Patel's hastily constructed language matrix. "You stand in the path of our glorious expansion. Identify yourselves and prepare to be assimilated." Sarah stepped forward, her chin held high. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earthship Horizon. We come in peace, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. This system is under our protection." Zarkon's multiple eyes narrowed. "Protection. Your primitive vessel is no match for the might of the Zarkol. Submit now, and your species may yet serve a purpose in our grand design." "With all due respect, High Commander," Sarah replied, her voice laced with steel. "Humanity doesn't submit. We're willing to discuss peaceful coexistence, but if you threaten our home, you'll find we're not as primitive as you might think." The alien commander emitted a sound that might have been laughter. Bold words from a species that has barely left its cradle. "Very well, Captain Chen. You shall have your discussion. I will board your vessel with a delegation. Prepare to receive us." As the hologram faded, Sarah turned to her crew. "Well, that could have gone better. Hawkins, I want security teams at every junction. O'Malley, keep an eye on our systems. If they try anything funny, I want to know about it. Patil, fine-tune that translation matrix. We can't afford any misunderstandings. Minutes later, Seraph stood in the Horizon's massive hangar bay, flanked by her senior staff, as a sleek alien shuttle glided through the force field. Zarkon emerged, accompanied by 2 guards whose biomechanical armor pulsed with barely contained energy. "Welcome aboard the Horizon, High Commander," Sarah greeted, forcing a diplomatic smile. Zarkon's gaze swept across the cavernous space. "Primitive, yet intriguing. Your species has potential, Captain Chen. It would be a shame to waste it." The delegation moved to a hastily prepared conference room, where holographic displays flickered to life, showing star charts and territorial boundaries. As discussions began, it quickly became clear that the Zarkol had no interest in compromise. "Your solar system lies at a crucial juncture in our expansion plans," Zarkon explained, his tone dismissive. "We require your resources and your population for labor. Resist, and we will simply take what we need by force." Sarah's patience wore thin. "And I told you, that's not an option. We're willing to trade, to share knowledge, but Earth and its people are not for sale or conquest." Zarkon's eyes flashed with anger. "You test my patience, human. Perhaps a demonstration of our power is in order." He raised a multi-jointed hand, tapping a series of commands into a device on his wrist. Alarms blared throughout the Horizon. On the main bridge, Lieutenant Patel's voice came through Sarah's comm badge. "Captain, they're powering up weapons. Energy readings are off the charts." Sarah's mind raced. They were outgunned and outnumbered, but she had one card left to play. "O'Malley," she snapped into her comm. "Initiate Protocol Lazarus." "Now." "Aye, Captain," came the reply, tinged with a mix of excitement and apprehension. "May God have mercy on our souls." The deck beneath their feet hummed as long-dormant systems surged to life. The conference room's holodisplays flickered, then stabilized, showing an external view of the Horizon. Before the astonished eyes of both humans and Zarkol, the massive Supercarrier began to transform. Panels shifted and reconfigured. Hidden weapon ports unveiled themselves along the length of the ship. The very structure of the Horizon seemed to flow like liquid metal, rearranging into a form that was at once familiar and utterly alien. "Impossible," Zarkon breathed, his usual arrogance replaced by shock. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. "Not impossible, High Commander, just highly improbable." The Horizon was more than just a supercarrier. It was an experiment, a testbed for technologies we've kept hidden for decades. Technologies, I might add, that were inspired by the remnants of a Zarkol scout ship that crashed on Earth a century ago. As if to punctuate her words, a brilliant energy field sprang to life around the Horizon, effortlessly absorbing the incoming fire from the Zarkol fleet. Streams of quantum-entangled particles lashed out from the carrier's newly revealed weapons, slicing through the shields of the nearest alien vessels as if they were tissue paper. "This," Sarah declared, her voice hard, "is humanity's response to threats of conquest. We'd prefer peace, but we're more than capable of defending ourselves." Zarkon's multiple eyes blinked rapidly, reassessing the situation. "It seems," he said slowly, "that we may have underestimated your species, Captain Chen. Perhaps there is room for negotiation after all." As the Zarkol fleet hastily retreated to a safe distance, Sarah allowed herself a moment of relief. The immediate crisis had been averted, but she knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy now knew of humanity's existence and of the sleeping giant they had awakened. The U.S. Horizon, transformed into something beyond even its designer's wildest dreams, hung in space, a testament to human ingenuity and a beacon of hope for Earth's future among the stars. Whatever came next, Sarah Chen and her crew would face it head-on, armed with the greatest weapon of all, the indomitable spirit of humanity. The underdog strikes back. The U.S. Horizon hung in space, its newly revealed form a shimmering testament to human ingenuity. In the week since their confrontation with the Zarkol fleet, Captain Sarah Chen and her crew had been working around the clock, pushing the limits of their transformed ship and preparing for the inevitable counterstrike. Sarah stood in the Horizon's cavernous main engineering bay, surrounded by a dizzying array of holographic displays and pulsing energy conduits. Chief Engineer O'Malley's voice echoed through the chamber as he excitedly explained their latest modifications. "It's bloody brilliant, Captain," O'Malley grinned, his beard singed and his coveralls stained with exotic particles. "We've managed to integrate the Zarkol tech with our own systems in ways even the eggheads back on Earth never imagined. The quantum entanglement drive is now operating at 200% efficiency, and we've weaponized the shield harmonics." Sarah nodded, trying to keep up with the barrage of technical jargon. "In English, Mike, what does this mean for our combat capabilities?" O'Malley's eyes twinkled. "It means, Captain, that we can now dance circles around the Zarkol ships while hitting them with their own shield frequencies. They won't know what hit them." A smile tugged at Sarah's lips. It was a far cry from the desperate situation they'd faced just days ago, but she knew better than to get overconfident. "Excellent work, Chief. Keep pushing. I have a feeling we'll need every advantage we can get." As if on cue, Lieutenant Patel's voice came through the ship's comm system. "Captain to the bridge. We're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council." Sarah's eyebrows shot up. This was unexpected. She hurried to the bridge, her mind racing. They'd known there were other spacefaring races out there, but direct contact with a Galactic Council, this could change everything. As she entered the bridge, a holographic figure materialized before her. The alien was unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. A being of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and flowing. "Greetings, Captain Chen of Earth." The being's voice resonated in her mind rather than her ears. "I am Zindar, representative of the Galactic Council. We have observed your encounter with the Zarkol Empire with great interest." Sarah straightened, acutely aware that she was representing all of humanity in this moment. "Greetings, Zindar. We're honored by your contact. I hope our actions haven't caused any concern for the Council." The energy being's form rippled in what might have been amusement. "On the contrary, Captain. Your species has accomplished something few others have managed. You've given the Zarkol pause. The Council is intrigued." Over the next hour, Sarah learned that the galaxy was a far more complex place than they had imagined. The Zarkol Empire had been expanding unchecked for centuries, brushing aside or absorbing any younger races in their path. The Galactic Council, bound by ancient laws of non-interference, had been unable to directly intervene. "Your world exists in what we call a nursery system," Zindar explained. "Protected and isolated, meant to allow young races to develop without outside influence. The Zarkol's incursion into your system has changed the equation. You are now free to act, and the Council would not be opposed to seeing the Zarkol Empire's ambitions curtailed." Sarah's mind raced with the implications. "Are you saying you want us to take on the entire Zarkol Empire?" Zindar's form shimmered. "We are saying, Captain Chen, that should you choose to do so, you may find more allies than you expect. The enemy of my enemy, as your species says." As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to her crew, seeing her own mix of excitement and apprehension mirrored in their faces. "Well," she said, a slow smile spreading across her face, "it looks like we've been drafted to save the galaxy. Any objections?" The resounding cheer from her crew was all the answer she needed. Over the next few weeks, the Horizon became a hub of frenetic activity. Ambassadors from a dozen alien races, all with their own grudges against the Zarkol, arrived to offer assistance. The ship's hybrid technology was further enhanced with contributions from civilizations thousands of years more advanced than humanity. Lieutenant Patel worked tirelessly with a team of alien linguists and cryptographers, cracking the Zarkol's command codes. Security Chief Hawkins drilled mixed teams of humans and aliens in joint combat operations, forging a cohesive fighting force out of wildly disparate species. But it was Chief O'Malley who delivered the real game-changer. Working with a reclusive race of energy beings known as the Thorax, he managed to modify the Horizon's quantum entanglement drive into a weapon of unprecedented power. "It's a planet cracker, Captain," O'Malley explained, his voice uncharacteristically somber. "One shot can destabilize a world's tectonic structure. It's not something I ever thought I'd build, but against the Zarkol." Sarah nodded gravely. The weight of such a weapon was not lost on her, but neither was the threat they faced. "Let's hope we never have to use it, Chief. But it's good to have options." Finally, after a month of preparation, the newly christened Galactic Alliance was ready to strike. Their target, a key Zarkol outpost on the edge of the Empire's territory. It wasn't just a military installation. It was a symbol of Zarkol power, a staging ground for their conquest of dozens of worlds. As the Horizon led a fleet of ships from a dozen different races through the swirling vortex of quantum space, Sarah felt a mix of pride and trepidation. They were about to make history, for better or worse. The battle, when it came, was both familiar and utterly alien. The Horizon's enhanced capabilities allowed it to dance through the Zarkol defenses, its weapons tearing through enemy ships with surgical precision. Around them, their alien allies unleashed technologies that defied human understanding. Gravity weapons that crushed Zarkol cruisers into singularities, phased plasma beams that bypassed shields entirely, and swarms of self-replicating nanite missiles. But the Zarkol were not to be underestimated. Their defense platforms unleashed barrages of antimatter warheads, while their flagship, a behemoth that dwarfed even the Horizon, projected a field that seemed to bend the very fabric of space-time. For hours, the battle raged across an entire star system. Ships on both sides fell to the relentless onslaught of ultra-tech weaponry. The Horizon took hit after hit, its hybrid shields straining to the breaking point. In the end, it came down to a desperate gambit. With the Galactic Alliance fleet taking heavy losses and the Zarkol flagship proving all but invulnerable, Sarah made the call she'd hoped to avoid. "O'Malley," she ordered, her voice tight, "prep the planet cracker. Target the outpost." A hush fell over the bridge. They all knew what this meant. Not just the destruction of a military target, but potentially the deaths of millions of Zarkol civilians. "Belay that order," a new voice cut through the tension. On the main view screen, the image of Zarkon himself appeared. The Zarkol commander's usual arrogance was gone, replaced by a look of grudging respect. "You've won this day, Captain Chen," Zarkon said, his multiple eyes blinking rapidly. "We underestimated your species and the alliance you forge. The Zarkol Empire withdraws from this sector, but make no mistake, this is not over. We will meet again." As the massive Zarkol ships retreated into quantum space, a cheer went up across the Galactic Alliance fleet. They had done it. The seemingly invincible Zarkol Empire had been forced to withdraw. Sarah slumped in her command chair, the adrenaline of battle giving way to bone-deep exhaustion. They had won the day, but at a terrible cost. And Zarkon was right. This was far from over. As the Horizon limped back towards Earth, leading a battered but victorious fleet, Sarah gazed out at the star-studded void. Humanity had taken its first steps onto the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew one thing for certain: they would face them together, as part of something greater than themselves. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The real adventure was just beginning. The battle for Earth. The U.S. Horizon emerged from quantum space in a flash of exotic particles, the battered flagship of humanity leading a motley armada of alien vessels. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her uniform crisp despite the exhaustion etched on her face. As Earth came into view on the main screen, a collective sigh of relief rippled through the crew. But their homecoming was short-lived. "Captain, Lieutenant Patel's voice was tight with alarm. Multiple quantum space ruptures detected. It's the Zarkol. They'd brought their entire fleet. Sarah's blood ran cold as the space around Earth lit up with the arrival of hundreds of Zarkol warships. The massive vessels quickly moved to surround the planet, their weapons primed and humming with deadly energy. How did they get here so fast? Security Chief Hawkins growled, his fists clenched at his sides. Before Sarah could respond, the main view screen flickered to life, revealing the sneering face of High Commander Zarkon. Surprised, Captain Chen. The alien leader's voice dripped with malice. Did you think your little victory would go unanswered? While you celebrated, we regrouped, and now we will crush your homeworld and end this insufferable resistance once and for all. Sarah's mind raced. Their own fleet was still recovering from the previous battle, and many of their alien allies had returned to their own worlds. They were outnumbered and outgunned. But Sarah Chen had not come this far to see Earth fall. All hands, battle stations, she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. Patel, send out a distress call to all Galactic Alliance members. O'Malley, I need every ounce of power you can give me. Hawkins, coordinate with Earth's defense systems. We hold the line here, no matter the cost. As the crew sprang into action, Sarah opened a channel to the gathered ships of Earth's Defense Force, a hastily assembled fleet of retrofitted civilian vessels and experimental military craft. This is Captain Chen of the U.S. Horizon, she broadcast, her voice reaching every ship and ground installation. I know many of you never expected to face a threat like this, but today we stand as humanity's last line of defense. The Zarkol think us weak, divided. Let's show them how wrong they are. For Earth. A chorus of determined responses flooded the comm channels as humanity's Ragdig fleet moved to engage the Zarkol armada. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as one of the most desperate and heroic stands in human history. The Horizon led the charge, its hybrid technology allowing it to dance between Zarkol energy barrages that vaporized less advanced ships. Earth's defenders fought with a ferociousness that seemed to take the Zarkol by surprise, using their smaller size and greater maneuverability to slip past the aliens' formidable defenses. But for every Zarkol ship they managed to disable or destroy, two more seemed to take its place. The space around Earth became a graveyard of broken vessels and scattered debris, the blue planet below obscured by the flashes of weapons fire and explosions. On the Horizon's bridge, Sarah coordinated the defense with grim determination. Patel, what's the status of our distress call? The young lieutenant shook her head, her fingers flying over her console. Still no response, Captain. The Zarkol are jamming our long-range communications. Sarah gritted her teeth. They were on their own. Just then, Chief O'Malley's voice crackled over the comm. Captain, I've got an idea. It's mad, and it might just kill us all, but it's the only play I can see. I'm all ears, Chief, Sarah replied, ducking instinctively as the ship shuddered under another impact. The quantum entanglement drive, O'Malley explained quickly. If we overload it and detonate it in the heart of the Zarkol fleet, it could create a cascade reaction, taking out most of their ships. But it would destroy the Horizon. Sarah finished, understanding the gravity of the suggestion. For a moment, the only sound on the bridge was the distant rumble of battle. Then Sarah straightened, her decision made. Do it, Chief. Prep the drive for detonation. I'll pilot us and myself. Captain. No, Hawkins protested. There has to be another way. Sarah smiled sadly at her loyal crew. It's been an honor serving with all of you, but this is my responsibility. Get to the escape pods. That's an order. As her crew reluctantly prepared to abandon ship, Sarah took manual control of the Horizon. With expert precision, she maneuvered the massive vessel through the chaos of battle, driving straight for the heart of the Zarkol fleet. Zarkol ships fired desperately at the approaching Supercarrier, realizing too late the humans' intent, but the Horizon's shields held, fueled by the very power that was about to be unleashed. In the final moments, as warning klaxons blared and the ship's systems reached critical levels, Sarah closed her eyes. She thought of Earth, of all the people she was dying to protect, of the future she would never see. "Given hell, Horizon," she whispered. The detonation of the quantum entanglement drive was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. A sphere of pure energy expanded from the Horizon's position, engulfing Zarkul ships by the dozens. Space itself seemed to warp and twist, reality stuttering as fundamental forces were undone and remade in an instant. When the blinding light faded, over half of the Zarkul fleet had simply ceased to exist. The remaining ships, damaged and disoriented, began to retreat in disarray. But the cost had been immense. The U.S. Horizon, humanity's greatest achievement and last best hope, was gone. And with it, the brave captain who had led humanity to the stars. As the surviving Earth ships regrouped, a stunned silence fell over the communications channels. They had won, but at such a terrible price. The Zarkul threat had been broken, but the future remained uncertain. Then, like a miracle, new quantum space ruptures began to appear. Ships of a dozen different alien races poured forth, the reinforcements of the Galactic Alliance arriving just moments too late. Among them was a sleek vessel of clearly advanced design. As it approached Earth, a transmission cut through the somber atmosphere. "Attention defenders of Earth," a familiar energy voice resonated. "This is Zindar of the Galactic Council. We bring word of Captain Sarah Chen's great victory and an offer of membership in the galactic community. Her sacrifice will not be forgotten." As cheers erupted across the surviving fleet, a small escape pod drifted amid the debris field where the Horizon had made its last stand. Inside, battered but alive, Captain Sarah Chen opened her eyes, a wry smile on her lips. "Now that," she murmured to herself, "is what I call a grand entrance." The battle for Earth was over, but for humanity, and for Sarah Chen, the greatest adventures still lay ahead. Humanity's finest hour. The days following the Battle of Earth were a whirlwind of activity. As humanity celebrated its unlikely victory and mourned its losses, delegations from a dozen alien races descended upon the blue planet. The Galactic Council, it seemed, was eager to welcome its newest member. In a secret medical facility orbiting Mars, Captain Sarah Chen awoke to find herself very much alive, if somewhat worse for wear. Chief Engineer O'Malley stood at her bedside, his red beard singed, but his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Didn't think I'd let you go out in a blaze of glory without me, did you, Captain?" He grinned. "I rigged a last-minute emergency teleport. Bit rough on the edges, but it did the job." Sarah groaned, every muscle in her body aching. "Remind me to promote you, Mike, or court-martial you. I haven't decided which yet." As Sarah recovered, she learned of the rapid changes taking place. Earth was being fast-tracked for Galactic Council membership, with advanced technologies pouring in from alien allies. The remnants of the Zarkul fleet had retreated to the far reaches of their empire, their expansion halted for the first time in centuries. But it wasn't all good news. The quantum entanglement drive's detonation had left a volatile rift in spacetime, a wound in the fabric of reality that threatened to destabilize the entire sector. And there were whispers of other threats stirring in the darkness between the stars, drawn by the sudden shift in the galactic balance of power. 2 weeks after the battle, Sarah stood before the United Earth Council, her dress uniform crisp and her posture ramrod straight despite her still healing injuries. The chamber was packed with human leaders and alien dignitaries, all eager to hear from the woman who had saved Earth. "Captain Chen," the council president began, her voice solemn. "You've done more for humanity in the past months than most do in a lifetime. You've earned a peaceful retirement 100 times over. But I'm afraid we must ask even more of you." Sarah nodded, having expected this. "Whatever Earth needs, Madam President." "I stand ready." The president gestured, and a holographic display sprang to life in the center of the chamber. It showed a massive ship, clearly of human design, but incorporating elements of a dozen alien technologies. It dwarfed even the Horizon, its sleek lines speaking of power and speed beyond anything humanity had ever achieved. This, the president announced, is the UES Phoenix, the first of a new class of ships, designed to be the flagship of Earth's contribution to the Galactic Alliance. We want you to command her, Captain, to lead humanity's efforts as we take our place among the stars. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. The ship was beautiful, a testament to what humanity could achieve when it pushed beyond its limits. But more than that, it represented hope. Hope for a future where humanity stood tall among the cosmos. "I be honored, Madam President," Sarah replied, her voice thick with emotion. "But I have one condition. I choose my crew." The president smiled. "I expected nothing less. Assemble your team, Captain. You leave as soon as the Phoenix is ready." In the weeks that followed, Sarah worked tirelessly to prepare for their mission. O'Malley, Patel, and Hawkins were easy choices for her senior staff, each having proven their worth 100 times over. But she also recruited from across Earth, and even among their alien allies, assembling a crew that represented the very best the Galactic Alliance had to offer. The day of launch arrived all too soon. As Sarah stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, she couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Yet this time was different. They weren't heading out alone into an unknown and hostile galaxy. They were part of something greater, representatives of both humanity and the Galactic Alliance. "Captain on deck," Hawkins called out as Sarah entered, the bridge crew snapping to attention. Sarah smiled, taking in the faces of her crew, human and alien alike. "At ease, everyone. Lieutenant Patel, status report." Patel's fingers danced over her console, the young officer's confidence having grown immeasurably since their first days on the Horizon. "All systems green, Captain. We're ready to launch on your command." Sarah nodded, taking her place in the command chair. It felt right, like coming home. "Very well. Let's see what this ship can do. Helm, take us out." As the Phoenix rose majestically from its orbital dock, cheers erupted from watching crowds across Earth. The massive ship, gleaming in the sunlight, was a symbol of everything humanity had achieved and everything it aspired to become. They cleared Earth's atmosphere in moments, the advanced engines pushing them to speeds that would have been unthinkable just months ago. As they approached the quantum space threshold, Sarah felt a familiar excitement building in her chest. "All hands," she announced, her voice carried to every corner of the ship. "We've been tasked with a monumental responsibility. To explore, to protect, to represent the best of humanity and our allies among the stars. The galaxy is vast and not always friendly, but if our recent trials have shown us anything, it's that there's nothing we can't overcome if we stand together." She paused, looking out at the star-filled expanse before them. "Our first mission is to stabilize the rift left by the Battle of Earth. From there, well, the universe awaits. It won't always be easy, but I promise you this, it will be an adventure unlike any other. Are you with me?" The resounding cheer that answered her brought a smile to Sarah's face. "Helm," she ordered, her voice ringing with authority and excitement, "engage quantum drive. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do." In a flash of dazzling energy, the Phoenix vanished into quantum space, embarking on the greatest adventure in human history. As they hurtled towards their destiny, Sarah Chen felt a sense of pride and purpose unlike anything she'd ever known. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger than ever. They had proven themselves on the galactic stage, earned allies among the stars, and begun to unlock the true potential that had always lurked within their species. The UES Phoenix streaked across the cosmos, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of Earth. And at its helm stood Captain Sarah Chen, once the commander of an obsolete supercarrier, now the leader of humanity's finest hour. As the ship emerged from quantum space near the volatile rift, Sarah leaned forward in her chair, her eyes gleaming with determination and excitement. "All right, team. Let's make history. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.